This short poem by Wendell Berry is called To Know the Dark. To go in the dark with a light is to know the light. To know the dark, go dark. Go without sight and find that the dark too blooms and sings and is traveled by dark feet and dark wings. To go in the dark with a light is to know the light. To know the dark, go dark. Go without sight and find that the dark too blooms and sings and is traveled by dark feet and dark wings. So we're in a time that has a lot of darkness, but as we all travel into it, I think we're finding our ways in kind of surprising ways. So I would love to still do short introductions since not everybody knows everybody. So if you would, I'll call on you. It seems easiest to introduce yourself. And again, just let us know where you are right now. And the question I want to ask you this morning is, what's one thing that has really helped you this week? What's helped you the most during the week this week? Is it something that you've done for self-care, for resilience, or what one thing has helped you get through the week this week? So we've talked about this a little in some of the other workshops, but this idea that poetry is really just about speaking the truth. And that's one of the reasons why it's helpful. I'm going to reread the poem that I started with, To Know the Dark. To go in the dark with a light is to know the light. To know the dark, go dark. Go without sight and find that the dark too blooms and sings and is traveled by dark feet and dark wings. So John Fox, who was one of my poetry teachers, in his book, which is where his book called Poetic Medicine, which is where I took this poem from, he says that poetry can be a safe guide, a wise presence, so that you don't feel alone while moving through the inevitable dark places in your life. Poems can be material for the healing work that you do, to share with a friend, or to just reflect upon within your own heart. Poetry can be a safe guide and a wise presence. And I think all of us who come to this work of using words get that. Because we do get surprised sometimes by the words that come out. Like you sit down and you just put your pen down and, oh my gosh, where did that come from? I think this importance in this time, especially of allowing our feelings to come out in creative ways, it is one of the things that gives us resilience and guides us through this really hard time. So in one of the other classes, I read this poem at the end, and I'm going to read it this time, and for you to think about which line resonates for you the most. And this is a poem by a dear, dear friend of mine, Mary Jane Block, called We Are Sustained, We Are Transformed. We are sustained, we are transformed by the love of friends, by the daily arrival of mail delivered by our neighbors, by the dusk sky turning Maxfield Parish blue, by the handmade rolls anonymously left at our front door, still warm from the secret donor's oven, by the email from one of the ones who got away 20 years ago, by the immediate yeses to requests for help so nervously sent, by the soothing blanket of the opiate painkiller, by the doctor with the gold hoop in his left ear who listens, by the medical assistant who says, "You're always so nice to me," by the friend who brings cabbage borscht and pierogi for lunch, by Vietnamese coffee ice cream and ginger lemon sorbet, by the warmth of the sun unaccompanied by wind, by writing together, by laughter. So I'm wondering which of those lines resonates the most for you. And just unmute yourself. Or maybe I'll unmute everyone.
I would say by laughter.
Great.
I liked the line about handmade rolls anonymously left at the door, because there's been homemade bread being passed around in Galena by someone.
That's great.
I would say by the warmth of the sun unaccompanied by wind.
I was going to say that line as well, especially
Uh-huh.
the sun's out so much these days.
Right.
I like that one too.
We're all feeling that.
Yeah.
Tori, was there a line that jumped out for you?
I also like who listens. It's just kind of out there.
Yeah.
Very,
All in the right in the middle.
right. It's just right there.
Yes.
So nice.
I really like, it's interesting, the immediate yeses to requests for help so nervously sent.
Mhm. So I'm going to ask you to use this prompt of either I am sustained by or I am transformed by. And we're going to spend a few minutes writing, and then I will ring the bell as we have done. So whichever of those lines rings best for you. I'm sustained by, I am transformed by. So I'm wondering who might want to share some of what they wrote. I'll read you two lines from what I wrote about what I am sustained by: the pure white camellias blooming in a neighbor's yard, and by the rainbow-colored hearts artistically arranged on another neighbor's window, surrounding a small teddy bear who is gazing shyly out at the street. It took a
Shy teddy bears. So cute.
I do love what people are putting in their windows in the neighborhoods, especially like kids' drawings and just these things that make you smile and feel welcome on the street. It's been very sweet.
I like the line, gazing shyly. Just that, you know, the way children do, or everybody's maintaining this social distancing, but then we're checking each other out because we're so starved for affection, or, you know, we're isolated. And then you look, you know, I've had these interactions with little kids and they're like, you know, is it okay to talk to her? And then we're talking from a distance. And that line brought that up, gazing shyly. It's nice.
Thank you.
And I love the teddy bear and rainbows because I have them in the window here, along with the hopscotch out in front. But that just, you nailed it. You just nailed it the way you said it.
Thank you.
I also liked how it started off with this pure white of the flowers and then the rainbow of the hearts. That kind of combination was really nice.
So I do want to encourage all of us that when we get little lines during these sessions, to sit with them after the session over, and if maybe it's going to transform into something else. And again, if you feel like you've written something like, oh yeah, I'm willing to share this with people, send it to us, because we would love to put together a little gathering of poetry that comes out of this time. It's one of the great things that I think is happening in terms of people tapping into their creativity, because we have a little bit more time or space to do that, or it seems like we do. This poem is by Lucille Clifton, and it's called Blessing the Boats. At St. Mary's. May the tide that is entering even now the lip of our understanding carry you out beyond the face of fear. May you kiss the wind, then turn from it, certain that it will love your back. May you open your eyes to water, water waving forever, and may you, in your innocence, sail through this to that. May the tide that is entering even now, the lip of our understanding, carry you out beyond the face of fear. May you kiss the wind, then turn from it, certain that it will love your back. May you open your eyes to water, water waving forever. And may you, in your innocence, sail through this to that. Is there a line that jumps out for anyone?
I like the imagery of water waving forever. I feel like there's something so peaceful about looking out at like a whole ocean or body of water. And I've never thought of it as waving, but I kind of like that idea.
Yeah, me too.
Kissing the wind, then turning from it, and the thought of it loving you back, your back. That's interesting because I hate the wind, and it's like just a very resonant piece for me that I like. It's I like that. I'm a little bit less trusting of the world around me, and it really captured that thought for me, because I also very much don't like wind and don't think that one should really turn from it. So the fear of that poem really sort of caught me there.
Yeah, I was thinking about the concept of like, going through a transition, a portal, transformation of sorts, and we're just at the lip of it, the lip of our understanding, and then we're going through from this to that, and there's fear, and there's this, we're a container for so much fear, but space, but an opportunity. Yeah, great. It was a beautiful poem. I enjoyed it.
And I like the wind at the back because I don't think about that very often, but certainly when I walk back from the arena, when I'm walking away, I know the wind is helping me walk faster. Even if it's a light wind, it's pushing me and helping me. It was just beautiful to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
And even just what you said, Anne, I mean, that's interesting, right? Because it's the hardest part is making that transition from it being a hindrance and a nuisance to it helping you out, which is why you forget.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I liked the an innocent sail through this to that, because that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, I also like the line sail to this, to that, because I feel that way about our situation. We are going to go through this, and hopefully we will get to that. We will get to that, but it's not like we're going to turn back and stop. The train's left the station, and that's the way it is. So we have to go through it.
So I'm going to suggest as a prompt either May the Tide or Beyond the Face of Fear or From This to That, or anything that you feel like writing right now. So From This to That, May the Tide, or Beyond the Face of Fear. So what came through this time?
I'm not used to reading anything I've written aloud and having such instant feedback. It's quite beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Who knew that Beyond the Face of Fear was kindness? Because I feel the same. Because I also have never shared anything I've written with anyone.
I've never written anything, so.
Me neither. This is new to me.
This is what I love about this. Like, no, you do not have to think of yourself as a poet, as a writer. You just have to be willing to show up and let through what comes through. And that is really the beauty of poem making. It's just like, and I so appreciate that everybody's showing up and doing this together. I mean, for me, it is part of what sustains me and transforms me and gives me energy to carry on. I'm going to end with this. I mean, I sent you a number of poems that we didn't, well, one poem that we didn't get to, but I'm going to end with this poem called Oceans by Juan Ramon Jimenez, translated by Robert Bly. Because to me, it relates to Lucille Clifton's Blessing of the Boats. This is called Oceans. I have a feeling that my boat has struck down there in the depths against a great thing, and nothing happens. Nothing. Silence. Waves. Nothing happens? Or has everything happened? And are we standing now quietly in the new life? I have a feeling that my boat has struck down there in the depths against a great thing, and nothing happens. Nothing. Silence. Waves. Nothing happens? Or has everything happened? And are we standing now quietly in the new life? So we don't know in this time whether we've struck upon some great thing that's we are afraid is going to sink our boat, but maybe nothing happens. Maybe this is the new life. Maybe it's okay. Maybe it's just going to keep changing. This being with not knowing, as so many Buddhists have talked about for so many thousands and thousands of years, is the place we find ourselves right now. And we can let it sustain us and transform us, or we can fight against it. But we do have choices, I think. And showing up to allow creativity to flow through us together is one of the choices. So again, just thank you so much for being here, for doing this. I know Gail put a note in the chat room that one of the things that we are doing at UCSF with the Mary Center on May 15th, we're going to be having a big day of remembrance online for people who anyone knows who have died in this time, but also to grieve all of the losses that we're all experiencing and feeling. So it'll be an online hour of some ritual and just acknowledging that we're all in this together and we're all experiencing a lot of loss and a lot of grief. And we can be there for each other to help each other through it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I know Gail has sent out information about the next round of poetry cafes. Feel free to come whenever you can, to encourage others to come. And I hope you have a lovely weekend and enjoy the sun without wind.